we are killing it with possession.
In terms of a player, just an absolute animal.
In my opinion, the greatest midfielder in Premier League history.
40 yards out to bag me a winning goal in the Champions League.
Now we're on to the fun part of the podcast where we're talking about midfielders, and we've got so many to choose from: defensive, attacking, just normal centre midfielders, box to box. My wild card was Zidane, so I'm going to have him more as an attacker midfielder out of the two in my 4-3-3. So we'll start off with centre midfielders who are defensive from a point of view. So Patrick, go ahead. If you had to pick your first choice for a defensive midfielder, who would it be and why?
So this is where it's a little tricky. I think defensive is going to be loose.
Ooh.
But he's definitely going to be deep lying. He's going to be pulling the strings. I'm going to keep it in Italy because those AC Milan teams were so good. He's got long hair, gorgeous hair, and he even played on the lovely, awful grass pitch of Yankee Stadium. To end his career, I'm going with Andrea Pirlo, anchoring my midfield.
Yeah, excellent choice. I mean, the longevity that he had in his career, going from Inter Milan to AC Milan, winning the Champions League multiple times with AC Milan, to then going to Juventus and getting them into the Champions League final in 2015, goes to show how well he did as a player. And the fact that AC Milan didn't want to renew his contract and he still had a new lease of life in that position that he had was unreal. So amazing shout there, I would say, Patrick, for your first choice as well.
Great player, yeah. Could ping a pass from anywhere. I really like Pirlo. He's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent choice there. You know what? I'll be generous for the midfield point of view. I'll go last on all three of them. So Sam, Luke, whoever's next, go for it for your defensive midfielder's choice.
I am going to be very clever about what I do here. I'm going with Clarence.
You stole my pick. You stole Clarence Seedorf from my soul. I had him. He was there. He was ready to be my partner with Zidane. And you stole him from me, Sam. You've broken a heart today. That's all I'm saying.
Is that? Did you hear that? So only player to win with 3 different teams, if I'm right.
Yeah. Ajax, AC Milan, and Real Madrid.
I'm saying it a lot. Longevity of a player to have played in Champions League final 1995 and work his way all the way through to his 40s playing for AC Milan. That you see images of him now, he's still ripped to shreds, but in terms of a player, just an absolute animal in that midfield that anyone would have in their team, I think. Definitely.
No, excellent choice there. And probably someone who I probably could have picked if I was being selfish and went for first. He's my first choice to partner Zinedine Zidane. Now I've got to improvise because he was my second AC Milan pick that I had. But what a shout there, Sam. Excellent choice for Clarence Seedorf, and what a player he was in his career. And if anyone is listening and you're wondering who the hell Clarence Seedorf is, again, the most underrated centre midfielder in modern football. Just go watch his video clips on YouTube. Amazing talent that he had as well. And if you don't mind me saying, when you see, we've discussed this on this podcast a lot, when you see a lot of black players being talked about as their strength and their athletic ability, Clarence Seedorf was the definition of technical and strength, and he was just an all-round midfielder. So I'm not really going to complain about how well he was. He was just the epitome of excellence as a centre midfielder. Nicely done there, Sam, with your choice of Clarence Seedorf. Sam, Clarence Seedorf, I still hate you for that. I'm going to hate you for the rest of the day. I can't lie. That was my choice. Luke, who's your first choice for your centre midfielders, my friend?
So I've been sort of toying with this one because, again, you're trying to think of it tactically with where you're going to go further down the line. Could have gone with a certain Barcelona centre defensive midfielder of the modern age, but again, I'm trying to save a Barcelona player for further down the line.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with more of like an underrated centre defensive midfielder. Won the Champions League with Liverpool 2005. I'm going to go for Xabi Alonso.
Excellent player. Won the Champions League in 2014 as well for Real Madrid. So we're going to go for the Liverpool Xabi Alonso or the Real Madrid Xabi Alonso?
Liverpool's version, please.
Liverpool's version. Nicely done. Scoring that rebound from the penalty that he missed in Istanbul as well. Really good player, and someone who you would be just really appreciating watching him play. My favourite ever Liverpool player, if you can say that about a rival team. You're allowed to do that, right? You're allowed to have a favourite player from a rival team, right?
Yeah,
that's all good.
Only
Xabi
one,
Alonso.
though. I think only one.
Yeah, one. It could be Haaland, but it's still Xabi Alonso from back in the day. So it is what it is, which is the case. Plain and simple, if I've got to go for my second Barcelona pick, I'm going to go for the one and only Xavi. Xavi, Zidane, possession-based football in my team. we are killing it with possession. No one is getting the ball off Xavi and Zidane. We are going to dominate in our side. And that's what Xavi did for a good number of years under Pep Guardiola for Barcelona. He was unreal. And people who don't appreciate football for the way it should be played, please go and watch Barcelona from 2009 and 2011, the way he would just dominate the team. The team would slow down, it would speed up, it would take control, it would dominate games against teams where they're thinking, oh, you know what, there could be a player or two who could come in here and disrupt the midfield. No chance in hell. Xavi was the guy who would make the team tick. He would make Messi tick. He'd make Iniesta tick. He'd make Sanchez, Neymar, Suarez tick. Whoever it was, he would do it. And it was because of Xavi playing the ball through properly. If you ever need a centre midfielder to watch, Xavi is the guy, and you've got Xavi and Zidane in midfield. So this is where the Empire strikes back, my friend. Hamz Solo is coming through. It's not Han Solo, it's Hamz Solo. He's coming through with this midfield, which is great to see. Right, because I picked my Zidane pick, I'm already on 2. So Patrick, Sam, and then Luke, go through your second picks of midfielders for us, please. Patrick, who are we going for?
I'm going to Liverpool for this one. My number 8, my box-to-box guy, well-rounded, can do everything. In my opinion, the greatest midfielder in Premier League history until De Bruyne retires. Then we can have the conversation. Steven Gerrard.
Oh, dropping the bombshells on here. This is crazy, Patrick. Best midfielder in Premier League history before De Bruyne retires. Oh.
And once De Bruyne wins the Champions League in June, then we can talk about him being the best one. But
yeah, potentially. I'm surprised no one's really gone for Gerrard earlier in the pick, but nice shot there. Who's your midfield now? Paolo and Gerrard?
Yes, sir.
Oh, insane.
Yes, sir.
I told you this is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets very, very tricky. Sam, where are we going with your midfield? Where are we going?
You go next, mate. I went first last time.
I mean, I'm probably picking the player you might have actually picked. I was going to go for Gerrard. I thought the link with Gerrard and Alonso would have been key. So I'm going for the person that could never play with Gerrard at international level, and that's Frank Lampard. Arguably the greatest centre midfielder in Premier League history.
Oh, he's great.
With Gerrard and Lampard, their coaching identities are awful. Yeah, you're going to be scoring goals with that. It's going to be crazy to see. But Lampard and Gerrard as well. I mean, we've got 2 Chelsea fans on here as well. Realistically speaking, with Frank Lampard, was there a part of his game where you thought, you know what, this is where he just kills it every season because his goal-scoring ability, his late runs into the box? Luke, from your perspective as well, what was it about Frank Lampard's game that he just continued to kill it every season?
He just seemed to have it all. Shooting from range. I mean, some of his goals in the sort of early 2000s was almost like a joke. About 25 to 30 yard distance, you can always guarantee when he picked the ball up, it was hit the back of the net. He could hit free kicks, just sort of a variety of goals. I mean, when we won the league in 2005 or 6 at Villa, or at Bolton, one of the
Bolton, yeah.
He hit the keeper from a sort of acute angle. Obviously, the goal against Barcelona in the Champions League when he twisted and turned and then sort of hooked it around and lobbed Valdez. Was an amazing goal. So, and he just sort of popped up in sort of huge games. So,
one of my favourite Lampard moments was when he came back into the Champions League semi-final against Liverpool. I think his mum had passed away and he had to score a penalty to get them over the line or ahead on away goals or something. And he stepped up. It was at Stamford Bridge, all the lights, cameras, everything on him. Stepped up, scores. Job done. Chose him their first Champions League final. And that was Frank Lampard for you. The mentality he had as a footballer was unreal. As a manager, not so much. Not a fan of his coaching philosophy, but it is what it is. It is what it is with Frank Lampard trying to relegate Everton and Chelsea in the same season. Sam, complete your midfield, duo in midfield. Where are you going, my friend?
I've obviously got 1, so I'll pick 2 now.
You've got 1 for your midfield, and then we've all got 1 more left to go around with. So go for 2 in a row, actually.
Cool. Well, that makes it easy. I'm going with Iniesta.
Yep.
Arguably one of the best midfielders of all time. I can't pick any more Real Madrid midfielders, otherwise I probably would. And the third of my midfielders is going to be Kaká.
That was my AC Milan player, man. That was the player I was banking on. You stole Seydor from me. You stole Kaká from me. You were tactical about it. Oh, Kaká. I've loved watching this guy growing up as well. He was the epitome of just exuberance on the pitch as well. The fact that he would be like a ballerina, be like an ice skater, just playing on the San Siro every single season, watching him. Then you had that record-breaking move to Real Madrid. I'm guessing you're going to go for AC Milan Kaká, right, Sam?
100%. So, I mean, I'm looking at the balance of my midfield. I've got Clarence Seedorf can do a bit of everything, holding midfield if I need him to. Iniesta to drive with the ball, pass the ball, keep me possession under pressure. And I've got Kaká who can put a bit of wonder and magic into it whenever I need him to, as well as being a box-to-box player. So I'm pretty happy with my midfield.
Nicely done. But yeah, that's all good. Luke, finish off your midfield three for us, then we'll go to Patrick, and we'll go to myself to finish.
I'm going to pick a bit of an attacking flair. People, when they watch Champions League in the latter parts of the 2000s, loved a free kick from all angles and shone the lights of the Stade de Gironde in France. And
No way.
I know. Janino. He's the guy.
With a dead ball situation from 40 yards out to bag me a winning goal in the Champions League. So that's what he's there to do.
Excellent choice there. Excellent choice with Janino. And again, you got people gassing up James Ward-Prowse as the best free kick taker potentially in world football at the moment. When you have to look at someone like Janino, the way he would knuckleball it before Ronaldo was knuckleballing it or any other player was doing it at the time, he'd be doing it consistently, and he did it so well for Lyon, making Lyon the top dog in France for a good number of years as well. So that's a really good shout, and I appreciate you going back and throwing it back like that, Luke. So nicely done with Janino. Patrick, is this where you get to pick your favourite Belgian midfield player to complete your midfield three, or is he not so much on your list just yet? What are we saying, man?
So you called it. He's only been in one final. Probably playing for City doesn't necessarily have the Champions League pedigree you'd expect of a player, but that's not going to matter to me. I'm taking De Bruyne. He's finishing off my midfield. I think it's difficult when you're kind of in this modern game, and a lot of players maybe have that, like, the nostalgia factor, and he hasn't finished his career yet. And there's a lot of things that kind of swirl around a player like that. But I genuinely think in the next couple of years, or even in the next couple of months, depending on how the City season goes, I don't think it's insanely far-fetched to start putting him in greatest of all time discussions. When you look at how unbelievable he is on the ball, he can do everything. He can play deep. He can split a defense apart. He's got, like, the pace and power that you associate with a lot of other really good midfielders. He's so well-rounded. And I think he really is, in my opinion, the greatest midfielder of this modern era. And I just can't say enough positive things about De Bruyne.
Yeah, I mean, here's someone who started as a winger, as a right midfielder who was playing in Belgium, then moved to Chelsea as well. Jose Mourinho didn't really fancy him, played a couple of games at Chelsea, then moved out to Wolfsburg, where they moved him more as an attacking midfielder from a winger because he was more of a creative spark for that Wolfsburg side. Again, record-breaking goals and assists for that team as well, which is great to see. And obviously with Manchester City, there's no looking back at what is done year after year after year after year. If he literally crowns it off this season with a Champions League winning trophy, no one would say it wouldn't be well-deserved for Kevin De Bruyne. And honestly, it's just one of those players that everyone loves to watch and to enjoy and to appreciate as well, which is great. So Kevin De Bruyne is in your team. Second Man United pick for me, because CR7 has been stolen from me. I would love to go for David Beckham, but I'm not going to use him as my right winger because I've got a couple of wingers that I'm going to go for as well, which would be great. Wayne Rooney is going to be my man behind the striker. He's going to be my number 10 because there's a couple of bagsmen up front. I need a couple of killers up front. And if you're thinking of a definitive number 10 in this side, when you've got Zidane and Xavi holding it down, the technical midfielder who can actually play as a striker, I could go for someone like Alessandro Del Piero. I could go for Francesco Totti. I could go for Marco Reus. Dennis Bergkamp to an extent I could as well. Maybe even Thomas Muller or Mesut Ozil. A couple of honourable mentions. But I'm going for Wayne Rooney. Manchester United's highest ever goal scorer, I should say. My favourite player, watching him grow up from a boy who was a striker to then being an attacking midfielder, number 10, playing behind the striker, is one of those situations when you're watching someone play as a utility player. You kind of see it with De Bruyne in a way. Sometimes you think that their versatility would be a downfall on them. It would be considered a hindrance, but it's not, because they play so well in different positions every single time. And it's really great to see what we can see with Wayne Rooney. And I've said it all along, the fact that he's been one of the most underrated players in England since he's been playing. People only appreciate him now because he's retired, but for someone like me, someone like Sam, someone like Luke, I'm pretty sure the three of us would all appreciate his ability on the ball, his technical grace that he had, even when he wasn't a striker, but as an attacking midfielder and all-action player as well. So that's me done with my Man United picks. Edwin van der Sar and Wayne Rooney, you're respectively going to be in my team. Oh, and breathe, everyone. We're at 8 o'clock.
No Modric, no Cruz, and no Casemiro in any of those teams.
I needed Zidane. I needed Zidane. That's all I'm going to say. Toni Kroos is one of the most decorated players of all time. Luka Modric is probably one of the best midfielders I've ever seen. And Casemiro may be one of the best defensive midfielders in the last 10 years as well. But we're having fun with this. All four of us are having fun. We're not going for more of the technical side of things as well. And I needed one more Real Madrid pick. So if one of you steals my Real Madrid pick last, I will end this Zoom call.